Hi everyone, my name is Karen, this is my channel RatherBeReading, and today I'm bringing to you my top 10 books of 2016. Now I'm getting this video up a little bit later than most people, so if you were sad that you didn't have any more top books of 2016 videos to watch, then I am here to help you out. This is very obvious. I will just be going through my top 10 books that I read in the year of 2016. These are of course not all published in 2016. In fact, I don't think any of them are. These are just books that I happened to read during the year of 2016. Now I am just going to start off with a bit of a dishonourable mention, and that is my least favourite book that I read in the year of 2016, which was Web of Dreams by V.C. Andrews. This is the fifth and final book in the Castile family saga, and it was awful. I really hated it. Parts of this book were just ridiculous. It didn't make sense. Timelines didn't make sense. It was crap, in my opinion. So yeah, that was my dishonourable mention. I do also have 3 honourable mentions of books that didn't quite make it into my top 10 that I did just want to touch on quickly, so I will go through those as well. The first of my honourable mentions is To the Edge of Shadows by Joanne Graham. This is a book that I was actually received from NetGalley and I hadn't got around to reading, and I'm really glad that I finally read it. This is a kind of psychological thriller story that follows a girl who was in a car accident in which her father and her sister were both killed. She survived, but she has no memory from before the accident. Not just of the accident, but of her whole life before the accident. She doesn't remember. We kind of get the timeline around the time of the accident, and we then jump forward and it's a few years in the future and we're following her life, and we then come across this character who we're also getting a perspective of, who it seems knows a lot about the main character and is a little bit sinister, and we're not really sure what's going on. It is a really great book. I highly recommend it. I really enjoyed it, and it's definitely worth checking out. Definitely an underhyped read. The second honourable mention is The Last Time We Say Goodbye by Cynthia Hand. This is a young adult novel that follows a girl who is dealing with her grief following her brother having committed suicide. So obviously you can tell by the subject matter, this is a very heart-wrenching novel. I haven't heard a lot of people talk about this, and I know that a lot of people have read it. It's got kind of mixed reviews. I personally really enjoyed this. It just kind of touched a place in my heart, and I absolutely sobbed and stuff while reading this. I thought it was really good, and I really enjoyed it. My final honourable mention goes to Everything Leads to You by Nina LaCour. This is a young adult novel that follows a female-female relationship. It has a bit of a mystery aspect. It's a lot of fun. I really loved the whole vibe and just feeling of this story. It was really enjoyable. I really want to read more things from Nina LaCour because I enjoyed this so much, but I definitely recommend checking this one out. Now let's jump into my top 10 of 2016. So coming in at number 10 is The Diviners by Libba Bray. The Diviners by Libba Bray is the first ever audiobook that I'd listened to, and I probably accredit a lot of my enjoyment of this book to the audiobook. If you didn't listen to this on audio but you have read it and loved it, definitely check out the audiobook, and if you haven't read it and you want to, read it on audiobook. It's a fantastic audiobook. This is a young adult historical paranormal story set in 1920s New York about a girl with kind of some paranormal abilities helping to solve a murder. It is very creepy, a lot of fun, highly enjoyable. Loved it. Definitely check it out. Coming in at number 9 is Saga Volume 5 by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. I read, I think only Volume 5 this year. I read the previous 4 volumes in 2015. I'm still hoping to get to Volume 16 really soon, but I did read Volume 5 this year. I enjoyed it just as much as the previous volumes. I gave it 5 stars, obviously. I really enjoyed it. It's one of my favourite graphic novel series that I've been reading, so yeah, I really loved this installment as well. Coming in at number 8 is Shadow Kiss by Rochelle Mead. I believe I read the entire series, Vampire Academy series, in 2016. But Shadow Kiss was by far my favourite book. It's the only one that I gave 5 stars. As I said, it's my favourite one in the whole series. The ending of this book just like punched a hole in my chest. I adored this one. I don't want to say too much about it, obviously, because it is the third book, I believe, in the series, but I really, really loved this one, and it definitely has a place in my top 10. Coming in at number 7 is Haze, Shimmer and Burn by Paula Weston. This is books 2 through 4 in the Refame series by Paula Weston. I gave Haze and Burn, so books 2 and 4, both 5 stars. I did give book 3 4.75 stars, but these books as a whole just kind of take position 7 on my list. I read the first book, Shadows, in 2015. It was my favorite book that I read in 2015. I really, really adore this series. It follows a girl named Gabby who is recovering. It's about a year following a serious car accident in which she was severely injured and her brother was killed, and she's still dealing with a lot of grief issues from that, and she has dreams every night about being in a kind of nightclub and fighting demons alongside this boy. And then one day this boy turns up in her town and is literally the boy out of her dreams, and things just kind of kick off from there. It's a fantastic series, highly, highly recommended. I don't think this series gets anywhere near as much love. Definitely recommend checking this one out. It's so, so much fun. Very, very enjoyable. Coming in at number 6 is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. This is a World War II fiction novel that follows 2 sisters who are living in Nazi-occupied France during World War II. The 2 sisters are very different. It follows a lot of aspects kind of in their relationship. The thing I liked about this as a World War II fiction novel is that it doesn't kind of follow the front and any fighting, things like that. It's about people surviving at home and the things that they had to go through and how they contributed kind of to war efforts. It was really, really great read. Obviously very heart-wrenching being a World War II fiction novel, but I highly recommend this one. Coming in at number 5 is Vicious by V.E. Schwab. This is a story that follows 2 main characters, Eli and Victor. They are in university when they decide to research and look into how you can become an EO, which is an extraordinary, and if they can in fact become EOs, we then jump forward into a time when they are both EOs and they are no longer friends, they are bitter enemies, and it's just kind of we follow both timelines. This book is fantastic. It has a lot of issues surrounding good versus evil, or what is good, what is evil, is it evil versus evil, good versus good. It just has a lot of really interesting themes. I absolutely loved this novel. I know this is very loved on BookTube, and I'm really glad that I finally read it because I absolutely loved it. Coming in at number 4, I have another World War II fiction novel, and that is Codename Verity by Elizabeth Bine. This one follows 2 best friends during the war. One of them is a pilot, and one of them has been captured in this novel, and follows a lot surrounding that kind of storyline. The friendship in this is one of the best bookish friendships I have ever read. It is amazing. Again, World War II novel, very, very heart-wrenching, but highly, highly recommended. I absolutely adored this book. Coming in at number 3, I have Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. I have talked about this book a lot on my channel throughout the year. This is a kind of modern classic gothic novel which follows an unnamed narrator who is acting as a lady's companion to this kind of older grumpy lady. They are currently on holidays when the main character meets a man named Maxim. She falls in love with him quite quickly. Towards the end of the trip, he eventually proposes marriage to her, which she accepts, and she goes with him to his kind of family estate, which is Mandalay. When she gets there, she discovers that Maxim has previously been married to a woman named Rebecca, and it's about her kind of dealing with feeling like she's living in the shadow of his previous wife. This has a really great character in the housekeeper, Mrs. Danvers, who was very close with Rebecca and is kind of, the main character feels like she's being undermined all the time, and it's a really, really great story. Very atmospheric. The writing is fantastic. I absolutely adore this book. If you haven't read it, please read it. Coming in at number 2, I have The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. I had never read this book. I know it is much loved. I had seen the movie and I really, really loved the movie. And then I finally read the books this year and I'm so glad that I did. This is such a beautiful, beautiful novel. It is told in diary entries from a boy named Charlie who we know is suffering with some kind of mental health problems, and it's about him kind of going into high school and making some new friends and things like that. This is just a really beautiful, touching story. It's really short. If you haven't read it and because you're not sure about it, please do give it a chance because this is just really, really beautiful. And finally, coming in at number 1, my absolute favorite book that I read in 2016 is Simon versus the Homo sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. I can't believe that I loved this book as much as I did. I don't know, it's not that I thought I wasn't going to like it, I just didn't expect to love it as much as I did. This is a young adult contemporary novel that follows our main character named Simon. Simon is gay, but he is not out of the closet. And he is conducting an online relationship with another boy that he doesn't know who it is. He knows him only as Blue, but he knows that Blue attends his high school. Another boy at his school discovers some emails that Simon and Blue have been sending to each other and starts to blackmail Simon. That's kind of the main gist of this. This book is just adorable. This is the type of novel that I just want to like hug to my chest because I just love it so much. It is touching, heartfelt, adorable. That's the main word that I would use to describe this book, is just adorable. The romance and stuff in it is on point. I love the main character of Simon. I'm really, really excited that they're making this into a movie. I really, really I can't wait till that comes out. But I absolutely adored this. I'm really, really excited about Becky Albertalli publishing more books. I know she's got The Outside of Unrequited coming out in 2017. Can't wait for that. Absolutely adored this. Best book by far that I read in 2016. So those are the top 10 books that I read in 2016. If you read and loved any of these books, I would love to chat in the comments with you down below. In fact, if you read and hated any of these books, I'd love to chat with you down in the comments as well, because I'd love to know what you didn't like about them. I'd love to chat. Please like this video if you liked it. Please subscribe if you want to see more from my channel. But that's all I've got for this video today. Bye guys.